What is up, team? So today I wanted to show you my new reptile room. I moved about a month back and now I think it's time to show you the setup that I have going. I have everything from hognose to corn snakes to carpet pythons and then a bunch of baby corns to show you guys, so let's get to it. So here on top I have my female hognose. As you can see, she'll usually give us a good display if I open up that enclosure, but otherwise she doesn't really bite. She just likes to do that in order to ward me off. But she is het snow, as well as her het snow counterpart is actually right next to her. And the males in hognose are so much smaller than females. As you can see, he's the same exact age. Similar, obviously, in behavior as far as doing that bluff, but you can see he's much, much smaller than her. It may not look like it, but this guy is coming up around breeder size, and he'll be breeding with that female next year, so in the springtime here. And they're both het for snow, which means het for albino, as well as het for axanthic. Put them together makes snows, and so it's kind of a long shot for me to get a snow with two hets, but I'm gonna go for it this year. Hognose snakes are super amazing, but I do only have two of them, so let's go on. Down here there's some corn snakes. So this is my male snow tessera, and he is grown a lot. I got him about 6 months ago or so, and he is a 2016. He's also het for stripe, so I think that would be fun to produce some snow stripe tesseras and some anery stripes, which I really like, and anery stripe tesseras and all different types of things. Right next to it is going to be a snake I got at a similar time there, about a year old. This one's a female, and this is just an anery tessera. She is also het for a male strawberry and possible het stripe. So in the future, maybe that snow could go to her. And let's see here. We got some more corn snake stuff. This is a het palmetto. So I do have this is the female, and I do have a het palmetto male that's going to go with her. She is a yearling as well. She should be ready to go. Definitely in 2 years, but I could hope for this year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But really excited to try to produce some palmettos. So now we're going to be changing gears a little bit, because this right in here is my green tree python. And I've had this girl for about 2 years. She is about ready to go move into her adult enclosure, so I'm going to be changing her enclosure really soon. But she is Jayapura to Sarong, and she is US captive born and bred. I really love this girl. Green tree pythons are awesome. I mean, obviously they're a little bit harder to keep, so you definitely have to do your research before getting one, but they are so amazing. Next up is my Australian water python. I've had her for about 2 years. Water pythons are super underrated. Definitely not a snake that likes to be handled too much. I'm not confident going in there just handling her right away for the most part. What I do is take the hook to get her out, and then we go from there, and then usually I can hold her. Sometimes I can just tell she doesn't want to be held at all, so I let it be. Honestly, growing very slowly. It seems like it's been about 2 years. Within 5 years she should be about 6 foot or so. So this is obviously a juvenile, but just super awesome snakes to keep. As you can see, all that iridescence that comes off of them. They are in the same genus as olive pythons, so Liasis. They do have a similar way that the sun hits the iridophores in their scales and gives you those awesome colors bouncing off of her scales. Moving on to the grow out rack. These are for corn snakes. Not exactly a yearling size as the ones I showed you before, which go into 15 quart tubs. These ones are going to be the size smaller, so anything from, you know, a few months old to about a year would be in this rack. We actually don't have much in here right now, but we do have this Okatee. She is pretty close to getting to the size when I'm going to move her up. But for now, this is where she'll be, maybe for another couple months, maybe even 1 month or so, because she is getting pretty big. But I just love the Okatee, the colors. The color of the Okatee really comes out in this girl in particular, or when you're putting them into Tessera. Definitely gives a great orangey red look to them. So this next one is an Amel Sunglow. Wrong tub. The next one is an Amel Sunglow stripe. She was produced by Walter Smith. Very, very bright. Right now she is only eating anoles, so I bought her as a problem feeder. I don't mind giving her some anoles and getting her going. Hopefully I'll get her over to Pinky soon, but we'll see. She's doing just fine on anoles, but they are kind of expensive, about $5 to $6 each, when she could be eating a Pinky, which would be about 50 cents each, so that's a big difference. Hopefully I can get her over to just Pinky mice soon. So this rack is pretty empty, but the last one I have in here, this is the Het Palmetto male. He is way behind the female as far as size goes, but no rush on him. I do really like his rusty color there. And he eats well, but he only likes to eat one thing at a time, so sometimes I could put 3 Pinkies with some of these guys and he'll eat them all. For him, no matter what size it is, he'll only eat one, so I actually give him a little bit bigger meals, but just one mouse at a time. I mean, right now he's on fuzzy mice. Now let's head over to the corner here to the rack, which is going to be holding the V70 tubs, which are going to be all my adult animals. So first up on top is my adult female jungle carpet python. She is just coming up on breeding size, and I'm hoping that she'll go this year. She is very, very ready to eat, so I'm gonna watch my fingers here, but try to get some good shots for you guys. But once she realizes that I'm not food, she is super friendly. One of the snakes I trust the most out of my whole collection. So right under her, I do have the male that hopefully she will breed with this year. So this is a male jungle carpet python. He is as well, just like her, he's always ready for food. These jungles are just so good at eating, and they're pretty well behaved once you get them out of their enclosure. It's just, you know, especially this time of year, I believe, because we had a few cool days here in Texas, so I believe they started to think that they were cooling down maybe a little bit, which means that it's getting ready to get into their breeding season, so maybe even a little bit more hungry and food aggressive than they usually would be. But they are just fascinating. The black and yellow is just so amazing on these snakes, you know, perfect colors. Here I have next is my jungle diamond male. He is a 2011, he's a little bit older, but I do not have a female for him to breed with, but even though I don't really have anything to breed him with, he's still one of my favorite pets. I mean, he just looks so good. So that yellow is just coming from the jungle carpet python, and then that increased crazy pattern is the diamond influence on him. And he is by far my most docile carpet python. I don't mind coming in here at any time and sticking my hand straight into his enclosure. He is just super friendly and super well behaved. Next up I have, and I always look before to see if she's doing this. So this is my olive python. So I'm not gonna open the enclosure right where her mouth is. But there you go. She is pretty much always ready to eat, but she is very, very docile. I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but one of my most docile snakes that I have. She obviously has a quick food response, but once you get her out, she is just as docile as anything else. She is about 2 years old, so she is maybe only half of the size that she will get. She's in a V70 right now, but what I'll probably do in the future is probably get like 8-foot cages for her to be in, and then she'll be in that for the rest of her life. Maybe on the bigger side, she could get 12 feet, but more likely, probably around 10 feet, but definitely a large snake. Not really the best as maybe a first pet or anything like that, but still just an amazing snake. Probably a little similar to the body structure of a reticulated python. So now we got our top rack. Now we're gonna move on down to our colubrids. Look, you can see Tony's in shed. Tony I've had him for 14 years, so he's 14 years old. I've had him since he was a baby. He bred for me this year and he bred for me a few years back. Those are the only 2 times I bred him. Not sure if he'll ever breed again. But he did have a really great clutch this year, 20 healthy eggs. And so I'm pretty impressed that he's stayed that productive even at 14 years old. And I expect it to continue for quite a while. Next up is my adult female Mexican black king snake. And this girl is just also one of my favorite snakes. Any snake that I have right now is pretty much one of my favorite snakes because I did really downgrade my collection a little bit back, maybe about a year or 2 back. And so I only kept what I absolutely loved. So anything that I have is a little bit older is like top of the top pick for what I wanted to keep. So she is obviously in shed right now. In classic king snake form, she does eat pretty much anything, but she is just super docile and super... People ask me all the time, what is the best pet reptile to get? What is my best first pet reptile to get? I don't think there's any way to get any better than a king snake or a corn snake. So easy to keep, so easy to handle. Perfect size. This is an adult female, and if you get down to it, they're pretty easy to breed if you want to go in that direction. So as always, one of my favorite picks as far as beginner pet reptiles. And this is the girl who laid all the eggs this year. This is a anery female. She is het for AML because she did hatch out a bunch of AML babies with Tony. And that's not surprising. She probably has a bunch of other, hets. That's just kind of how it works with corn snakes. There's so many things that you may not know of that are in your snake just because they've been bred, for so many generations with so many possible hets and, different projects that you're bound to have some stuff hidden in there, especially because most of corn snake mutations are actually recessive. Unlike ball pythons, most of them are codominant. So codominant genes, they're displayed visually, but heterozygous genes are not displayed visibly, so you may not know that they exist into your snake until you breed them out with another snake that's carrying those genes. So that's a fun thing about corn snakes. All the time you breed stuff and you pop out stuff that you never thought you would see. So now we're done in here. We're gonna go through the bathroom. In the bathroom here, this is where I defrost all my mice. And then turn around here, and this is gonna be the closet that I keep all the babies in. So we are now in the closet. Let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing in here. I'm actually keeping this at an ambient temperature and then the snakes with no hotspots. So what does that mean? Usually on the rest of my racks, I have a hotspot in the back, so that's heat tape that's run through the back of the rack and then plugged into a thermostat, and then that giving heat to the animals, so that on the warm side for most of my animals it's going to be 85 degrees. On the cool side it's going to be about 75 degrees. So that gives them a choice on where to go as far as where they want their body temperature to go. Now there's a bunch of breeders, whether it be ball pythons, whether it be carpet pythons, whether it be corn snakes, that keep an ambient temperature. So what does that mean? You're heating up the room to a optimal temperature so that you don't have to use heat tape and your snakes actually survive and thrive in an ambient temperature. Now it's going to be a little bit different keeping this way, and there's some adjustments to make. So what I've been doing is just converting this small closet into a place where I'm gonna do all ambient temperature and test it out for a little while. Right now, this thermostat, it's set at 80 degrees so that when this closet gets a little bit cooler, it will keep it heated up. It doesn't have as much airflow in here. There are no vents, so there's no air conditioning in here, so it does stay naturally warmer. What I'm aiming for is from 78 to 82 degrees, and that should be just fine for corn snakes. That's what I'm doing right now. A little bit of an experiment on a small scale, just to, you know, get it dialed in for if I want to do a whole room in the future. So what comes along with having heat tape is possible malfunctions of your thermostat and ramping that heat tape up, or failure of the heat tape and the thermostat doesn't catch it and your animals are too cold, or just straight up the heat tape has been known to melt or just create fires for all different types of reasons. So if you do ambient air temperature, then you don't have to worry about that fire risk with the heat tape. So as you can see, we have a whole lot of babies in here, but first I'm going to show you I do have one of the yearlings in here. This is a Anery Red Factor. She is the same age as the other Anery that we have inside, as well as the snow. So as you can see, I have some things marked on the top of the tubs here. What I'm going to do later is make a whole video of me showing you all the animals, marking them, numbering them, showing how to keep track of them eating and shedding and all that kinds of stuff. For now, I'm just going to show you some of the babies. I'll give you some good looks at some of them. Some of my favorites actually, and we'll bring them out and get some good shots. So what I'm doing is keeping them at this ambient temperature in these Tupperwares, which are perfect. They snap down, they make a great escape-proof enclosure for a baby corn snake, perfect size and everything. Just cut a little plastic cup as a water bowl, make a little hide, and that's all you need. So this is one of my favorite of the classic corns. Why I like it so much is the awesome orange and reds it has in it, and as you can see, these babies are pretty defensive. They're always ready to rattle and strike, but they do tame down so well as they age. They've all only eaten twice. They're doing well and everyone looks great, so I'm pretty happy with this one right here. So this next one I'm going to show you is actually selected because it is the opposite of the other one. It is very, very gray and black and has this like maroon velvety looking pattern to it with a gray base, and I just think he's really, really cool looking. Almost looks Anery, but then you see those oranges on the head and some of the red coming out near the neck. Now we're gonna move on to an A-male. So this girl right here I picked because the really like peachy background color and then very, very dark red on the pattern of her. So I just thought it was really cool. Plus this broken up pattern on the back kind of makes a zigzag. There's a lot of blushing in the saddles, in the black saddles, or in the red saddles rather. A lot of good blushing in there and good pinks. So something else I like to see in baby A-male corn snake are those white borders on the saddle pattern there. I just really love the look of okatees and anything with a good outlined border of the pattern. So I really like this girl. She's going to be a pretty classic looking A-male. So yeah, I'm super psyched to have all these babies at my disposal. So there it is, guys. This is my whole entire new reptile room. Hope you enjoyed it. I was happy to set it up and get everything settled down. Now I'm ready to feed some snakes, get these babies started. If you want to see that video of the babies, it should be coming out sometime next week. In the meantime, if you like these animals and you want to see more of them, you can check out my Instagram. I have good pictures of each one of these animals. I've taken individual pictures of all of them, and I do post up every day, so check it out. Also, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you made it this far, you're on the team.